The Istanbul Cipher, Chapter 22. The tunnel pressed in on us like a forgotten throat. Wet stone, stale air, the sound of breath and boots and dripping time. Ayla led, her headlamp slicing through the dark in sharp, focused beams. The rest of us followed in silence, our gear clinking softly with each step. Cistern access wasn't supposed to be this far down. The infrastructure had been rerouted decades ago, buried deeper with each layer of bureaucracy and disuse. But Ayla's map, stitched together from Ottoman survey records and utility schematics Emre decrypted, pointed us toward Substrata 47B. We crawled under a rusted pipe that bled condensation. Emre grunted as he dragged the stream node in its waterproof case. Sibyl had a hand against the wall for balance, her palm brushing faded stone, maybe carved, maybe just eroded. Layla moved like she'd done this in another life. She wasn't the same girl I'd met 3 weeks ago on the museum steps. The last tunnel bent sharply and dropped. Ayla signaled to slow. Her voice came low. "This is it." She knelt beside a broken valve housing and brushed away the dust. Underneath, in chipped concrete, someone had etched a surveyor's mark. Ottoman era, unmistakable. A 4-point star inside a ring. Substrata 47B. We pried open the rusted panel and slipped through into a domed chamber barely tall enough to stand. The air shifted. Cooler, older. "Lights down," Emre whispered. "This is where the signal needs to be clean." We killed our headlamps one by one. Total darkness swallowed us. Then Ayla switched on a red beam and swept it across the floor. The mosaic was still there, half buried under debris and time, but unmistakable. Clasped hands, fractured tiles, faded script. My heart kicked. Layla stepped forward slowly. Her fingers trembled as she touched a broken tessera. "It's still here," she said softly. It waited. I didn't breathe. None of us did. Then I crouched beside her and whispered, "Let's get to work." The past hadn't disappeared. It had just gone quiet. Until now. The chamber was barely holding together. Brick bowed from time and moisture, rebar poking like bone through wounded walls. But the mosaic floor held, stubborn and silent, a relic half exhumed. Dust and wire veined across it. But the design pulsed beneath, familiar, defiant. Sibyl and I started clearing the space, while Imre unlatched the node case and began laying out his gear. No chatter, no direction, just motion. We'd moved past needing roles. We were the work now. "I need a clean perimeter," Emre muttered, fingers flying over his keyboard. "If the node loses sync, the stream drops." Sibyl tossed a coil of copper cabling aside and knelt near the center of the floor. "We're almost there." Layla brushed her sleeve across the mosaic's edge, revealing the arc of a circle. Her eyes flashed in the dim red light. "It's not perfect," she said, "but it's enough." I crouched beside her, scanning the fractured pattern. The hands, the same clasped hands from weeks ago, were still joined, though chipped. The lines of script spiraled outward in faded curves. Whole sections had collapsed, but the central ring held. Emre connected a receiver to the node and glanced up. Signals bouncing. 2 mirrors live. Third just came online. He looked to me. "We're go." I nodded once. "Then light it." He tapped the screen. A sharp ping echoed into the chamber. Then silence. A single LED blinked green. "Connection stable," Emre said. Outside, the world was still asleep. But down here, something had just awakened. The live stream was live. The node was feeding a signal across 3 decentralized servers Emre had stitched together from dormant school networks and recycled university code. No central platform, no single point of failure. "It's not pretty," Emre muttered, adjusting a filter. "But it's unkillable." Siebel's hand brushed my arm. She nodded toward a faded cluster of tiles on the far side. "Start there." The camera will track the reveal. Layla looked up, her voice low. "We're telling the story now. The real one." I swallowed hard. This isn't a museum piece. This is a resistance. "Let them see it," I said. "All of it." And we began. The mosaic didn't need to be whole to speak. Even fractured it sang. We circled it slowly, headlamps cutting through dust motes, each beam catching slivers of worn tile and hairline grout. The central medallion had shifted from our last visit, probably from the collapse above. But Emre's new overlay held. "The wheels aligned," he said. "We're in range." "Start the projection." Ayla tapped her tablet, and the AR render leapt into the air. Above the floor, ghosted outlines of a long-lost structure bloomed into place. I watched as walls reappeared, stone arches tapering into layered alcoves, mosaics extrapolated into full patterns. Digital threads wove over ruin, as if the space remembered itself. The overlays had evolved since the pilot. Emre's rebuild introduced ambient data, color-matched texture scans, resonance maps, partial inscriptions filled in algorithmically from ancient Armenian and Ottoman syntax libraries. But what made it real was how quiet everyone became. Layla stepped into the projection and knelt at the center. She reached out and traced a segment of tesserae, half missing, half intact. The AR filled in what was lost, framing her hand in ghostlight. "It's still here," she whispered. "It waited for us." Siebel angled a lens toward her. "Say that again," she mouthed. Layla didn't look at the camera. She just spoke. To the room, to her grandmother, to the centuries between. "This isn't about a building. It's a voice. And it's still speaking." Siebel hit record. Her voice layered onto the stream, even and clear. This chamber was buried beneath stories no one was allowed to tell. They prayed here, not because they feared who they were, but because silence was safer than truth. Emre gave a thumbs up. "We're transmitting. Mirror 1 and 2 are stable. We're visible." My chest tightened. We did it. The walls shimmered under the overlays, arches from church blueprints blending into prayer niches, minaret stubs fading into buttressed columns. No one design dominated. It was convergence, history refusing to obey borders. Siebel continued. "The Foundation called it forgotten. But forgotten things don't burn like this. This isn't about remembering. It's about refusing to forget." For a moment, Istanbul listened, and we held our breath. The live stream held. Emre adjusted the relay node while Ayla crouched nearby, rotating the signal booster toward the exposed ceiling joists. The AR overlays danced brighter, casting strange halos across our faces. We were bathed in ghost light and ancient silence. "Mirror 3 just pinged," Emre said. "South Asia node picked it up. We're global." Layla stood at the edge of the mosaic, clutching her grandmother's scarf. Her voice barely wavered now. This wasn't just sacred ground. It was shared ground. Armenian, Greek, Turkish, Muslim, Christian, hidden and held. And when the city chose silence, this mosaic chose memory. I moved along the wall, brushing off the dust, revealing another partial panel. A pair of hands, one open, one clenched. The tile work was cracked, edges chipped, but it was unmistakable. This was never just art. It was intention made permanent. Cipher leaned in to narrate. These hands represent resistance and refuge. An open hand to those who fled, a closed fist to those who tried to erase. The mosaic says, "We were here." Then the notifications started popping up on Emre's rig, one after another. Is this real? I've seen this pattern in a village ruin near Van. This matches oral history my grandmother told. Where is this? Who are these kids? Emre's fingers flew across the keys, stabilizing bit rates and responding with a simple message. Truth has a frequency. You're tuned in. Layla knelt, slowly unfolding a poem she'd printed. The one from Anahid's memory. She read the lines aloud in both Armenian and Turkish. Each word layered into the AR feed, the script curling across the frame like prayer smoke. I watched it appear on my backup screen, elegant, unhurried, unmistakable. And then Ayla's voice, calm but urgent. Zach. Look at the floor. She rotated a compact mirror toward the mosaic. The flashlight's beam hit a narrow seam of grout between the tiles, almost invisible before. Now it shimmered gold. A single phrase emerged. One voice becomes many when the silence breaks. Sibel's voice caught in her throat. Emre sat back, stunned. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. We had cracked it open, and the world was watching. No one spoke. Even the equipment stopped beeping, like the tech understood the weight of what we'd uncovered. The phrase still glowed in the grout, faint but undeniable. One voice becomes many when the silence breaks. Layla dropped to her knees and pressed her palm to the floor. Her fingers traced the letters, lips moving without sound. A prayer, maybe. A thank you. I didn't ask. Some things deserve silence. Sibel finally broke it. This was meant for us, she said, not looking at anyone. Or someone like us. People who wouldn't walk away. Ayla was already moving, snapping close-ups with her phone, feeding them directly into the stream. I'll overlay the coordinates. If they shut us down, at least we leave a breadcrumb trail. Emre grinned, just barely. Good luck shutting this down now. The mirrors are splintering. It's already up on 6 sub-networks, and someone started translating in Spanish. I checked my screen. Dozens of live reactions. Teachers from Ankara, a museum archivist in Beirut, a kid named Samir from Jordan who wrote, I showed this to my mom. She cried. Sibel added, This isn't just evidence. It's proof of what was lost, and who refused to let it stay buried. I turned in a slow circle, taking it all in. The cracked tile work, the AR overlays painting lost architecture onto bare stone, the soft glint of old grout speaking louder than any monument. This wasn't preservation. It was resurrection. Then I caught it, the faintest vibration through the ground. A tremor too subtle to hear, but enough to feel. I glanced at the ceiling. Dust filtered down like ash. Did anyone else hear? Footsteps, faint but steady, above us. Layla stiffened. Ayla reached for her flashlight. Sibyl whispered, "They found us." I exhaled through my nose. Calm, ready. "Then let them watch," I said. Because this time, the world already had. Ayla killed the lantern. Only the glow from the mosaic remained. Subtle blues and ochres flickering beneath the AR projection, like the past was breathing. We waited. Above, the footsteps grew clearer. 2 pairs, maybe 3. Methodical, cautious. I pressed a finger to my lips, and everyone stilled. "Don't move. Don't speak." Then the sound stopped. Silence stretched thin as wire. Emre leaned close, whispering, "We've got maybe 30 seconds before they find the access tunnel." I nodded. "Download everything. Push it to every mirror you've got. Now." His fingers moved in a blur across the touch screen, sweat sheening his brow. Sibyl crouched beside the central lens and removed the voice overlay module. "If they seize the device, they won't get the source." Layla looked back at the exposed phrase in the grout. "We can't cover it again, can we?" "No," I said, "and we shouldn't." Ayla passed me a folded printout. "Final export coordinates. If we don't make it out, this shows where we were, where we are." The air changed, cooler. Someone had opened a hatch or door above. Light trickled in, dust particles dancing through it like snowflakes. Emre handed me the data stick. Encrypted, buried under 3 dummy layers. But it's all there. Footsteps again. Closer now. No longer cautious. Confident. I reached into my jacket and pulled out the envelope I'd sealed earlier, handed it to Ayla. "If anything happens, get this to Niazi." She stared at it, then me. No words. "Time's up," Emre muttered. The tunnel began to glow faintly from behind us. Flashlights bouncing off wet stone. Layla looked up toward the sound, defiant. "They want us scared." Sibyl stepped beside her. "Then we won't give them that." I turned to face the tunnel. Heard voices now. Orders in Turkish, radios crackling. I didn't run, neither did they. We stood there together. 5 shadows in a forgotten chamber, surrounded by the resurrected past, holding nothing but truth in our hands. And as the first uniformed figure dropped into view, flashlight beam cutting through the dark, I thought only one thing. They're too late. The world already saw.